domnul Ermis PANAGIOTOPOULOS, directorul de sustenabilitate al Federației Europene a Apelor Îmbuteliate. Dânsul este dublu cetățean grec și belgian. Locuiește și lucrează la Bruxelles din 2006. A lucrat în ONG-uri, la Comisia Europeană, în asociații din industrie. Experiența sa profesională este diversă și include aspecte precum agricultura, apa, deșeurile și economia circulară din perspectiva politicilor publice. Intervenția dânsului va avea loc în limba engleză și în acest scop vom avea și o traducere în timp real, iar tema cu care este dânsul invitat la dezbaterea noastră ține de riscurile anului actual 2022. Ermis, you are online. Please. Take the floor.
Thank you very much, Andrea. And it's my pleasure to be a second time in this forum after 2 years. Before I start, and I will share my screen for my presentation, I just want to make a quick comment because I have visited Romania many times when I was working for the fertilizer industry. So it was agriculture related. So it's important to see as well that waste is a big issue. And of course, for beverages, we have a quick solution, which is a DRS. But there are some things that they are much more complicated, agriculture being one of it, and which the modernization takes ages to achieve, while with a deposit refund system for beverages, again, only, we can take it, we can go out of it very quickly. So with this very quick reflection, I will share my screen. I hope, please, Andrea, tell me if you can see my screen as well.
Yes. Please do the share presentation, please.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So I will focus on very quickly, I will take 7 minutes of your time on European policies and deposit refund systems, what we think as natural mineral spring water producers in Europe, the way forward. So who we are, we are an European association based in Brussels. We represent 25 national associations and direct company members. So as far as Romania is concerned, we have APEMIN, which is the association, and Romaqua, which is the company members of our European Association. I will jump directly. I will not speak about the sector so much, but we are natural mineral spring water producers in Europe. The European framework, you very well know. I will speak only about beverage bottles. We are the only ones using a material which is PET, plastic, which is a polymer. For an application of this material, we have collection and recycle content targets for 2025 and 2029 for collection, and 2025 and 2030, as you can see on the screen, for recycled PET. If you use PET bottle for detergent or personal care products, you are not in this obligation. Only beverage bottles are. So that's why for us it's very important to reach very high collection, and we have said it before July 2019, where the Single-Use Plastics Directive kicked in. At the same time, since then, we receive also very conflicting messages, because while with the European Plastic Strategy in January 2018, we were told to go to incorporation of recycled content back into the new products, so circular economy. Very quickly, we see that some countries are moving away from that, and they even ban in France, and also a draft in Spain, so that they intend to ban by 2040 all single-use plastic products, bottles included, and by 2030, which is not in this slide, 2030, 50% reduction. Once again, as we saw in the previous slide, we have collection and RPET targets in the Single-Use Plastics Directive. We don't have reduction measures, we don't have bans. But some countries go beyond that. That's why I mentioned also the agricultural side of the story in the very beginning, because some directives that I was working, nitrates directive or others, are from 30 years ago and they are still not implemented. While here we see a very rapid reaction from member states to implement something. And of course, we have a solution as far as that. And also, what is very important for this year is the upcoming legislation. We have a very quick revision because the previous revision of packaging and packaging waste directive was in 2018. So 4 years after, we have another revision. Why the Commission is doing that? Because up to now it was about recycling of different packaging materials. Now they want to focus very much on prevention and reuse, which for us means refill. Now, if we go to DRS specific, it's interesting to see. So the message of this slide is that in 3 years from now, so let's say 2022, 2025, we will have another 11 EU member states having a deposit refund system. And of course, you see more names here because it's England, Wales, Scotland, etc. That count for one. But basically, it's 11 new member states, which means that we will have in European Union of 27, having now 8. We don't take into account Iceland and Norway. 8 plus 11, we will have 19 member states at least by 2025. So this means that we have a lot of collection to do, but also I would say, and that's something that every country, of course, is the chicken and the egg. Once you have a DRS in a country, then the recyclers follow because of the financial interest, that there is something to recycle and of great quality. But it's very important as well, the recycled content to be produced in the European Union and also each country to have its recycling plants in order to satisfy the growing demand from the producers. But as with extended producer responsibility schemes, EPRs, what about DRS? Because not all EPRs are the same, not all DRS are the same. So it's not, we cannot speak with one voice for everything. We need to see what the performing systems do. For us, we have gone in 2020, we did an action as key success factors for efficient deposit refund systems. More recently, we partner with an environmental NGO, which is called Zero Waste Europe, which is obviously about waste, to promote and actually to lobby so that the DRS is being taken into account when we are discussing about European directives, that is being acknowledged, recognized as a very good system. And that's what we are doing as well for the packaging and packaging waste directive, which is going to be in July this year. We want to be recognized and to have minimum requirements, exactly the same with the minimum requirements of EPR schemes in 2018. So some concluding remarks, and as you can see, I'm really on time. Circularity works, and of course for the beverages, circularity can be via recycling, that you recycle something and you put it back into the new bottle. So you reuse in a way the material and you don't extract, so you are resource efficient, you don't extract more resources from the earth. Or via refilling, it's also circular. So both systems, and we provide these both systems. DRS, it's a very, very important. That's why we have been pushing DRS before the single-use plastics directive. It's very important because gives recyclers as well, recyclers of plastic or others, because in DRS you have PET, aluminium, and you have also glass in some countries, 6 out of 8 in Europe today. But very importantly, it gives quality, because for us, we cannot put quality, we cannot put recycled PET now as an obligation. when it comes from a source that is not clean. So that's very, very important for us to get high quality, and that's why the DRS is a very good solution. As I said, for us, we ask the Commission to include and acknowledge DRS in setting minimum requirements. And of course, this we have discussed in my previous interference with the governor. And I will finish with the last point. Having spoken about the minimum requirements, the last point is that as the only obliged sector as of today, because we don't know if other plastic related products will have recycled content in the packaging and packaging directive, but as of today, we are the only obliged sector, and we need to have access to those, because we see a lot of non-food industries really take a lot of the recycled content, the available recycled content. And once again, we have technology coming in with chemical recycling. We have DRS, which is helping the supply side. So we think that by 2025, we will have for everyone, because here we don't represent one or two big companies. We represent a sector that has 550 SMEs, so small and medium-sized enterprise. So with that, I would like to thank you, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Thank you, Ermis. You've been really short. Thanks for that. Let me run up with a 3-in-1 question. In the countries where the depository fund system has been implemented, how did the small shops manage, since the system is easier to work with for supermarkets? Some producers, even members of the association you represent, set their goal of producing new packages at 50% or even 100% recycled material. What do you think is the motivation of this producer to go even further than the target set in the European legislation? Is there enough raw material on the market to meet the quality standards needed to achieve these goals?
Yes, thank you. I think that's two questions. So the first question is about the shops and the small shops, etc., for the DRS. Some countries, not all, but some countries they have done, and of course you have Tomra, or you have others very knowledgeable people in this panel, but some countries have in the law, so like in Germany, less than 200 square meters. It's up to you if you want to receive them. But of course, it's normal that they want to receive them, because otherwise the customers will not go to these small places. But other countries, they don't have in the law. So I can think of Netherlands that doesn't have in the law to receive this. To be clear, and actually in the Netherlands, they have other issues now with cans being included because it was only for the big PET bottles. Now they introduce the small PET bottles in the supermarkets, but the cans outside. So it's a little bit more complicated. But that's part is only for, and I will leave later on to the more experts, which is Tomra. But I would say for us, we want to put a lot of recycled content because we want to be circular. We don't think only about SUP, the Single-Use Plastics Directive, which is an obligation for our industry, which says 25 and 30. We want to go much further than that. The question that, why? Because we want to become circular, meaning that virgin is a word of the past. We don't want to use more resources, as much as possible to use recycling materials. And the question arises, as I mentioned, is there enough? No, there is not for the time being, because we see many big players, non-food, taking a lot of PET bottles to transform them into textiles or other products, which they lose the loop because they cannot become beverage, then collected by DRS, recycled, and then another beverage, but it becomes something else that has a lifespan of 20 years if it is a carpet or something, but it breaks the loop. So we want to be circular, that's the answer.
Thank you a lot. Pentru că s-a pomenit de Tomra, haideți să o invităm chiar pe doamna vicepreședinte a Tomra și responsabilă cu relațiile